Much peace to you guys and welcome. Today I want to speak about the highs and lows of life, and about the fact that we should actually embrace both. Okay, we should embrace both. I believe that life is not perfect. Okay, so life is not perfect. And sometimes you may get caught up in certain thought patterns. You may get caught up in certain circumstances that are not serving you. But you have the power to alchemize these things. And I believe that the positive and the negative are actually two sides of the same coin. Okay, so you have to realize that in a negative experience, there may be a positive lesson. Okay, so embrace both the dark and the light in your own life. And when you accept this duality, when you accept this polarity, it's like you have the power to actually transcend it. So I believe that authenticity is about the positive, but it's also about the negative. So you have to learn to embrace both perspectives. And life is not perfect. Sometimes you may get caught up in certain things that are lower vibrationally, and you have to learn to accept these things, So realize that you have the power to raise your consciousness. Okay, you have the power to raise your energy to the next level. But it all starts with also accepting a negative experience. Okay, so realize that in a way you are the attractor of these experiences, and you have to take full responsibility. And what I believe is the fact that the best revenge is no revenge. So if someone hurts you, if someone wounds you, just let it go and accept yourself and love yourself unconditionally. I believe that the secret is within ourselves. Okay, so the best revenge is no revenge, and you have to learn to accept both perspectives. Okay, you have to learn to really accept yourself unconditionally and learn to forgive. And when you are getting caught up in lower vibrations, when you are getting caught up in negative things, realize that with patience and time, you will get to transform these things into your own favor. So it's all about learning to have patience with yourself. It's all about learning to love yourself unconditionally. It's all about self-acceptance. And you have to embrace the positive, and you have to embrace also the negative. Okay, so embrace both things, because life, again, is not perfect. And life is only showing you what you are a vibrational match to. So in essence, it's happening in relationship with you. You are the co-creator of what is happening within yourself and outside of yourself. And the more that you learn to look within yourself, and the more that you learn to forgive, is the more that you have the power to really raise your consciousness to the next level. Okay, so realize that if you are being caught up in certain lower negative things, you have to learn to accept it. If you are suffering, you have to really go as deep as possible into it and learn to accept it. The more that you accept a negative feeling, is the more that that feeling is being transcended into a new state. Okay, so realize that it's all happening in relationship with you. It's all happening in relationship with your state of consciousness. And you also need to learn to let it go. Sometimes you need to let it go. Okay, sometimes you just need to let it go and see what happens. And you have to learn to shift your focus, shift your attention. Okay, the alchemist always gets to shift his perspective. And he knows that perception creates reality. Okay, perception creates reality. How do you actually perceive a negative experience? Because we are being reminded by quantum physics that the observer and the observed state, the observed thing are not separated. Okay, so when you change the way that you look at things, the things that you look at actually change. Okay, so shift your mind and realize that your mind is so powerful. Your mind has the power to create realities and worlds. Okay, so realize that the secret is in your own vibrational state of consciousness. The more that you are increasing what is happening within, is the more that you are increasing what is happening outside as well. And I believe that forgiveness is so important. We have to learn to forgive. And it all starts with learning to forgive ourselves, because sometimes you may not be perfect. Sometimes you may not be perfect. Sometimes you may be out of alignment. Sometimes you may do wrong onto others, but you have to learn to love yourself in this process. You have to learn to really embrace and forgive yourself and others, okay? So realize that in the universe, in life, there is duality, okay? There is the principle of polarity. And this reminds us that there is positive and negative maybe in certain things. And you have to learn to embrace both. You have to learn to accept both if you want to step into the consciousness of oneness, okay? So learn to transcend your experiences and realize that in every single negative experience there is something positive waiting for you, okay? There is always a positive lesson. So get to learn your lesson, get to extract the gift of your own lesson. And my suggestion is, if you want to really transcend polarity, you have to learn to offer your heart into the world. And what I mean by this is the fact that our natural state is positivity, okay? In our natural way of beings, we're actually good guys. But when we get disconnected, we may feel like we have blockages. We may feel like we are operating from a lower state of consciousness. But you have to learn to really offer positivity into the world, okay? You have to learn to really open your heart to the vibe of love, because I believe that love is actually the truth of the universe, okay? So get to learn to operate from and as love, okay? So yes, life is not perfect. Life is not perfect, and we're not perfect either as human beings. And from my perspective, I believe that we have to learn to let go of perfection, okay? The moment that you let go of perfection, you will find authenticity, okay? So let the world see who you really are deep down into your own heart, deep down into your own soul, and see what happens. You don't have to be perfect, and you don't have to pray for an easy life. This is what Bruce Lee said, and I really resonate with this. Don't pray for an easy life. Pray for the strength to handle a rough one, okay? So don't pray for an easy life. And realize that the harder it gets, the bigger the gift. The harder it gets, the bigger the gift. And really, you have to open your heart to what you are experiencing, okay? You have to open your heart to what you are experiencing. And even if it's negative, you have to learn to accept it. And you have to learn to really let go of perfection. Let go of perfection, okay? So yes, realize that you have the power to alchemize your experiences. You have the power to make the best out of the worst. But sometimes it takes patience. Sometimes it takes you taking full responsibility for what is happening into your own life. Sometimes it takes courage. You know, sometimes it takes courage. Sometimes it takes you opening your heart to what you are actually feeling, okay? So embrace both. Embrace both. Embrace the good and also embrace the bad. Because again, they may be interconnected. They may be interconnected. They may be the same vibration, just at opposite poles, you know? And when you learn to really embrace also the negative, you're actually playing a different game. You are playing the game of authenticity. And what I mean by accepting the negative is not expressing it into the world, but more likely transforming it into the vibration of love, okay? Transforming it into the vibration of authenticity and of power, okay? So you don't have to harm another. You don't have to harm another. You don't have to express your negativity into the world, but more likely you have to look within yourself and transform it from within, okay? And realize that, again, the positive and the negative may be two sides of the same coin. They are the same energy, just at different degrees, okay? So realize that when you are experiencing something negative, you have to have patience. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to love yourself unconditionally, and you have to learn to transform your energy, okay? So yes, embrace both. Embrace the positive, but also embrace the negative, the highs and the lows. Because life comes with challenges, Okay, sometimes life comes with challenges. Sometimes life comes with spiritual crisis, maybe. Sometimes life comes with failure. But from my perspective, there is no failure, because our souls are not designed to fail. Our souls are designed to thrive and to be in alignment with source and higher consciousness. But you have to recognize this deeper truth. You have to learn to embrace this deeper truth, and you have to love yourself unconditionally. Okay, so this was this message about the highs and lows of life. Learn to embrace both and see what happens. It's all happening for you. It's all happening in relationship with you. I love you so much, guys. And if you're into my YouTube channel, feel free to subscribe, leave a comment. That is appreciated. And like always, see you on what is coming up next. Namaste and see ya.